Good morning, space travelers. It is February 11, 2010. I'm enjoying a rapidly cooling cup of Earl Grey whilst contemplating a few things. The first thing which I'm thinking about today is why Pat Robertson has not explained that the snowstorms that have been hitting the East Coast are God's way of punishing us similarly to the way the Haitians are being punished for selling their soul. Because I live here in D.C., and the rumor has it that there's at least a few people who'd be willing to sell their soul, which seems moralistically to be on par with actually selling your soul. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. So, snowpocalypse upon us here in D.C., and everyone has been talking about it. And last night on the CBS Nightly News, all the nighttime reporters had their North Face gear on, and they were outside running around Rockefeller Center talking about, look at all the snow coming down, and all I could think to myself was, oh, now it's a big story because it made it to New York. It wasn't really that important until it made it there. Meh. But never mind my beef with, what the media overemphasizes, or, how after the fact the attention comes. Let's talk about driving, because in the last 5 days I've had to drive to work in the snow, and that has been actually a lot of fun because there's been no one on the highway, and that means I don't have to deal with traffic. I just have to deal with the elements, which I can do because I have all-wheel drive. Again, not important right now. But I'm driving in the snow, and I have my carpool with me, and he asked me my opinion on something, and I thought I'd kind of come back and share it. He asked me about what my opinion was on job outsourcing and how I felt about it, which was pretty quick. I said I did not like it. No, I don't like job outsourcing, but I understand why it happens. It happens because we live in a society that worships capitalism but doesn't practice it. We practice what I refer to as synthetic capitalism, where instead of the consumer driving the market saying, hey, this is something I want, something I'm willing to exchange money for or buy, we have a market where there's no competition because everyone's buying each other. And heads up on the Comcast NBC merger. That's bad. No good could come from that. But anyway, instead of trying to make a better product, the United States has fallen behind so much because we just try to lower the overhead. So the only way to make this profit margin exist is to move one of these things. How much it costs, how much money you bring in. And it seems like, to me, from where I've sat for the last 26 years, is that it's a lot easier to make things cheaper. It actually takes work to make a better product that people want. And so, American auto industry goes to shit. Japanese automakers come out with fun and exciting new products that are innovative. And guess what we buy a bunch of? I'm not saying that we can't do that, and I've seen some improvements in the last 3 years in the American auto industry. I mean, I think there's some promise there in the next decade. But there's no reason why we shouldn't be making the best cars, and that's maybe the biggest point here. There's no reason why we can't, and I feel like this trend towards synthetic capitalism has really been the spit in the face of American exceptionalism, that we want to be the best, but we try to cling to that by some sort of sense of entitlement, and that doesn't really jive with me. Anyway, outsourcing. I can't personally talk about outsourcing unless I'm talking additionally about issues like illegal immigration, because I feel that they kind of are like two arms of the same body problem, and that is, I don't like what's happening, but I understand why it's happening. A lot of it has to do with the double standard that I perceive with many Republicans to say, we don't like these immigrants coming into our country, but you can't come to my business and tell me how to run it and inspect to see that I'm hiring U.S. citizens. And if I can get my costs lower, then everything works out better for me. The double standard comes in later on whenever we hear arguments for all these tax cuts, and that the line of reasoning is, well, if these people with established businesses or with money have more money, then they'll use that money for growth. And I'm looking for that example, because what I see instead is that there's a lot of venture capitalist types who don't even make really great decisions for a company, but will, make decisions based on themselves. You're rewarded if your company does bad. You're doubly rewarded if it's competent, and that doesn't seem to work. So these problems are going to exist. So things have to improve. Same conversation led to talking about, how do I feel about products that are made mostly internationally, and use some sort of like unethical labor force, exploitation of indigenous crops, exploitation of people, Walmart, China. How do I address those issues with the amount of consumer power that I have? And that's a really hard one, because I don't want to support that at all. I don't want to be a part of that. But it's too hard to know every single element of every item that I purchase, or the items that are even used to manufacture the things that I purchase. So I've said now it's too hard to know all those things. So does that mean that I think I can do nothing? No. All right. I see something. I know it's bad. I have to come up with some acceptable point that I can live with. And I guess the best way I can put it is this, because I'm running out of time really fast. And you didn't really sign on to watch a 10-minute video, but that's what you got. And vlog specials weren't supposed to be this long. They were supposed to be just little, 4-minute cute things. Anyway, 1 minute and 15 seconds. I gotta go. My point is this, simply put. If I recycle plastic, if I recycle glass, if I recycle aluminum, but I don't recycle newspaper, me not recycling newspaper does not make the act of recycling the glass, plastic, and aluminum irrelevant, and it doesn't make them meaningless. So you can try the best you can to get as much as you can, and if you don't get everything, you always know that there's somewhere to improve on, but at least you're doing this. So some of the world's problems are maybe too big to eat in one bite, but I guess that you don't have to feel overwhelmed. At least is my thought. Not that you had asked for advice, but hey, you came to my website or my page. Still, you probably didn't come for advice. Either way. Well, anyway, Space Travelers, I'm out of time. This was vlog Unspecial number 3.